Hey guys, I'm Matt Lighty. This is the build diary number 3 for Diablo 4, Season of Hatred, Season 6. And first and foremost, all the decisions that I've been making in this video and this build have been fantastic, and I'm having a lot of fun. It's all going great. So this is the this was off of the end of day 3, really day 2.5 because the first day was not operational, but we are Paragon 128. We are about to enter Torment 3, which is the second to last difficulty. And yeah, we've got some great gearing choices and great decisions we've made over time. So we're going to briefly go over the gear and some of the choices for skills and the Paragon board, and then we'll do a little showcase. So Necromancer, Summoner 128 is where I'm at so far on the Paragon board. The Book of the Dead have received some minor changes from me. Skeletal Warrior Reaper, that's staying the same. Skeletal Mage's Shadow for the higher DPS, that's staying the same. The Golem we have swapped to Blood, and the only real reason is for this one secondary passive that says the Bone Golem absorbs 30% of the damage I would take. So it's a 30% soak on the damage I take, which is a huge form of mitigation that currently feels kind of just needed for pushing higher content and more difficult content. The second I don't feel like it's needed, the second I just go days without dying, maybe I'll swap off a Blood Golem and back onto Iron for more DPS or Bone for more CC, but the Blood Golem's 30% soak is amazing. I haven't had a minion die ever. I don't know if there's any scenario where a minion will die before I die. So because of that, they could take as much of the damage as possible that I'm taking, mitigate away. I have literally impossible for me to fucking die, it seems like. Them first, I mean, so yeah. Couple amendments. So we dropped all of our initial points out of there because we're not casting anything anymore, basically. Everything's automated now, and I'll tell you why as we go through it. We swapped onto these passives. Because I needed to put something in, but there's like actually nothing I could put in, so it doesn't really make a difference. Like, I can put the points anywhere. I just have to sink 5 points to get past that breakpoint. It's a little goofy, but yeah, what you could legally do is put a point into Blight for this 20% increased damage to enemies within the Blight. It doesn't last very long, but you know, that's something you could do if you wanted to get extra damage. I don't really feel like I need it. Everything else is in passives. Everything's in just more damage to nearby things, more damage to whatever around me. We talked a little bit about the curse thing. I have the auto cursing set up for the gauntlets with Decrepify. Everything's passives, and then we actually started putting points in Corpse Tendril, which is a huge component of the build. And I'll tell you why. So we have, in our gearing choices, we are running 2 uniques. Uniques aren't legendaries. Uniques are basically non-upgradable legendaries that have specific unique properties to them. Legendaries are just basically rares with far superior stats. These boots are ancestral legendary, meaning they have a legendary aspect being the imprinted thing at the bottom, and the highlighted roll at the top, the intelligence, which is basically double rolled. That's the ancestral part of it. This is a 1-star ancestral. You can see because there's 1 star next to it Greaves. This is a 2-star because there's 2 stars next to it Dead and Frenzied Dead, although it did a roll over the stars, which is a little goofy looking. This one is double ancestral. Then you have also the masterworking, which this one is 9 out of 12. Masterworking goes up to 12 in every 4 masterworks, I believe. It might go to 4, 8, 10, then 12. You get an extra bump to a thing. So my extra bump is the blue text being Thorn. So it's an extra 25% chunk of stats on that thing. It picked Thorns. For example, on these gloves, it picked the Corpse Tendril size. This is a tempering, which I look for everywhere. Corpse Tendril size, if I can get it, I pick it up. The other things I look for is any amount of damage I can get to summon. So, for example, gloves have skeletal mage damage. The amulet has summoning damage, so that sort of stuff is great. But boots have movement speed. But aside from that, every time I can get Corpse Tendril size, I want it. And the reason is because Corpse Tendril puts down on a corpse a little flower that blooms and vacuum sucks things in. And it'll be a little bit annoying to manually cast it, but it's super great because it condensed everything. All my piercing from my skeletal mages, all my cleaving from my skeletons, my golems, all my things just stack up, and it makes clearing so much easier. Now, for the imprints, I have a bunch of things that are basically the same. Golem, CDR, and damage. Skeletal Priest affect me. This basically just passively heals me every second or two. That's great. This is what keeps me alive. The Dark Aura is my blasphemy type curses. The imprinted here is just more skeletons. Amazing. This one is blizzards. This is the same thing. My skeletons cast little blizzards. And then the weapon one is just a bunch of attack speed. This means my things attack a lot faster on a single target. They almost always have 75% increased attack speed, excuse me. So that's fantastic. The amulet is Army of the Dead is just stronger and my minions get stronger. Again, fantastic. The stat priority I'm looking for at the moment is just int, life, armor, applicable gem levels, and thorns I like to have because it makes it more passive. Let's talk about the uniques because this is the important part. This one we showcased, I believe, last time, which is every 6th attack. The damage explodes. This is like such a huge chunk of DPS. I've not yet gotten a ancestral version of this. The current path of upgrading I'm on is trying to get ancestral in every single slot. I'm just missing this one glove, which could be any glove, right? It doesn't have to be unique. So just any ancestral legendary glove that has applicable rolls, life, int, and then something else good. Ideally, something that's 2 things, so I want something else good. And then these 2 rings are the only uniques I'm running at the moment, so I have to get ancestral. Those haven't gotten either. They are loosely targetably farmed from certain bosses, so that's pretty cool. But this one is the one that gives you all that damage. Now, the other one is the one that makes this really fun. This is the Ring of Sacrilegious Soul. What this gives me is it automatically activates the following skills on corpses around me. And corpses are constantly generating around me through my various means of generating corpses, but most namely, every time my skeletons are attacking, my golem sheds corpses, everything die drops corpses. So there's just always there's never a shortage of corpses, okay? Infinite corpses, even on bosses. It automatically casts Raise Skeleton, which, assuming I have all my skeletons, which I always do because they never die, means it automatically casts the Priest version, which is the Raise Skeleton when everyone's alive. The Skeletal Priest to empower my minions, increasing their damage by 30% and healing them. Now that also, because of my body, applies to me, okay? Which means I also get the damage boost, which then boosts my minions, and it heals me. That's how I'm being passively healed for, I want to say, about 5%, 8% life every couple seconds. And because of some passives I have on my tree, I have increased healing, so that also amps it up to about 10 to 12% life regen every couple seconds. It's pretty comfy for just walking around. Do I still have to pot sometimes or pick up the health globs? Sure, but for the most part, that's my passive healing. It also casts Corpse Tendril every couple seconds. This is the part that makes it super comfy. So every 6 seconds, Corpse Tendril's on the screen. Because of the amount of Corpse Tendril size I have, which is even low rolled in some places like this, right? It can go up to 40%. This is the 28. Like, it's a huge difference. Now, that makes it so the Corpse Tendril is about screen wide. Every 5 seconds, everything's getting vacuumed screen wide. And it makes it extremely comfy to just walk around. Now, there also is an aspect of Corpse Explosion, but I'm kind of just ignoring that part. If you don't put the skill on your bar, it won't trigger. So I'm not even putting the Corpse Explosion on my bar. I'm not even bothering with that. Maybe I'll look into it later, but as of right now, I'm pretty okay where I'm at as far as like what I'm investing into, and it's been really comfy, so that's pretty much that. We do have a couple of new things, being the thing that season the runes. This is again harkening back to Diablo 2. These runes have the yellow one on the top generates an amount of a resource, and the one on the bottom uses the resource. So this one generates resources whenever I get injured or crowd controlled or CC'd, and it uses them to reduce my ultimate's cooldown by 2 seconds, and it has an overflow value. So if it's 200 per 2 seconds, that means for 1,000 rating, it'd be 10 seconds. When I get CC'd or injured, once every 10 seconds. Just pretty comfy to have passively. This is the real fun one. This one's generating resources every time I travel 10 meters, so just walking around. And so what this does is it summons wolves, which are minions, which scale off of all my fucking minion shit, and they just attack things aggressively. That's been fantastic. So watching them jump around is very fun. Let's briefly talk about the Paragon board, because that's pretty much it for the investment on gear. The goal we're looking for between this and the next video is to get my gloves ancestral, both my rings ancestral if possible. At the very least, this one, you know, up to eye level with better rolls. And then start getting everything to masterwork 4, which gives it that extra little bump of a targeted thing, but overall just more 5% increased affix value. So masterwork 4 across the board. The weapon I've been pushing much higher because it's just like, I'm getting greedy and I love this weapon. It's only, I rolled a 2-star ancestral, so it's huge bump in damage. It's not a scythe. A scythe is a better implicit. This has implicit for crit damage, but that's totally acceptable. I just would like a scythe because the scythe one has like summon damage and can roll other cooler minion things on it. So totally fine for now. I'll be replacing it anytime soon, but there it is. Brief Paragon board, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty. So this is the Paragon board. A little bit daunting, not as daunting as like a PoE tree, but the basis is you progress from the bottom up. You place these boards that have different aspects on them, and you pick up notables. Then you place little glyphs that kind of work as jewel sockets, and they augment the things around them, but also just give passive. So TLDR, right? You pick the boards that are applicable to you. For me, all the boards I'm picking are minion shit. So the first one was minions, right? Cult damage and attack speed. The second board is golems. The third board, corpses and skeletons, right? It's all going to be pretty straightforward. You know, like nothing is surprising on the boards here. So that's what I'm picking up. Just the ones that do things I care about. The notables, again, it's things like minion armor and life. Do I need it? Not really. They never die. But skeletal warrior damage, and some of them have like secondaries, like this one has bonus damage if the requirements are met, being I have a certain amount of int or dexterity. Some of the bonuses I've met, some of the bonuses I haven't met, like I'm missing a little bit of willpower. When I get it, then my skeleton minions get an extra 50% damage, like huge chunks of damage, right? And then the glyphs I'm picking are ones that are applicable to what I'm doing. So we have a summoner one that's buffing summoner stuff around the area. We have one that is doing for skeletal mages, right? Similar things. You can move these around freely and mess with them. And this one's for golems. You know, it's nothing special here. I'm just picking up things that kind of you'd imagine make sense. Life, healing, you know, damage, minion. These small minion nodes, I'm pretty much grabbing all of these, where it's like golem damage, golem attack speed. There's not like too many ways to scale golems, so for the most part I'm just picking that up. And yeah, that's it for the things. So the content I'm doing is a variety of fun things. We talked about masterworking. That requires me doing this Helltide thing. Not Helltide, what is it called? Infernal Hordes. So this is basically like in PoE, it's kind of like the ultimatum, I guess, equivalent. So I'll do like, you go up to a certain amount of waves. I think I may have a smaller one here. Like, I'll do a wave 6, I guess. Click it. Click accept, it pops up. I hit tab, and then I get to see exactly where it is. Left click, teleport to it. That's very nice. This is quality of life they added to teleport right to the activities. Nobody wants to walk around, so, you know, God bless that they added that. The gameplay loop you're going to witness is going to be extremely lackadaisical. The only buttons I really press is when my golem's active is up. I click on an elite or a large pack of mobs. I click on that pack. It slams that pack and then does its ability, which in this case is like a big AoE, and it heals me and the golem. Not that I'm ever not healed anyway for the most part. Army of the Dead, I just pretty much click on cooldown. That's my big ultimate, but it's, you know, on a 30-second cooldown most of the time because of my various forms of CDR reduction. Corpse Tendril, I don't even cast myself. It's auto-casting. I just have to have it at the bar. Same thing with these raised skeletons. And Blood Mist is my oh shit button / movement skill. So here's a minion. You can see I'm in Torment 2. I really can definitely jump to Torment 3 because for the most part, I'm just sitting here and everything is clearing around me. And that feels great. I like not having to move. Let's take a look and be mindful of the Corpse Tendril situation. So you'll see it happen. You'll hear it happen. I can cast them manually. So there's a couple. So you see how they suck everything in? That's what Corpse Tendril looks like. It vacuum sucks everything on top of it. And it's like super, super comfy for like, you know, just gathering mobs up. Because it just makes it easy because I can gather them all up, click on my golem, and then the golem just jumps on them. And it's just like a great combo of, you know, keeping everything jumbled up like that. And they get stunned for 5 seconds, so it's not as if it's like not doing great things no matter what. But this is the minigame, or this is the activity I would say I enjoy the most because it's just standing and killing things, and that's what ARPGs are all about, is just enjoying the grind and killing things. So pretty much that's all the whole thing is I walk around, little activities pop up, I kill shit, I get this material called, I think it's Aether. And then at the end of each wave I make a deterministic choice that has a positive and a negative. Here it is. So I could... Hellborn are hunting me, so I just get more things chase me, but every time I kill a Hellborn, I grant more Aether, which is good. This one spawns more stuff and rain stuff. This one drains my health, and then when I kill the soul spars, I get 2 aether. So I almost always pick the ones that spawn shit and give me shit for killing shit, because more shit to kill is more aether, which is more better. Let me do this for 6 waves, and then there's a boss. That's pretty much it. The other useful resource you get from doing this activity is a material that lets you reset the tempering attempts on items. So I'm trying to get that, corpse, suck size on everything. But sometimes I fail, and the system kind of works like legendary potential in Last Epoch, where you have X amount of attempts per item, but this resource resets those attempts 1 time per item. So there's a finite amount of failure you could have. But yeah, I utilize that to just like make sure that all my things can be rolled what I want. It's pretty comfy, I would say, overall. That and the other thing is to get the masterwork resource from here. The experience is also really good here. I do have to remember to click on my vials and my opals and my incenses, all my fucking things. That's the one thing I don't like about Diablo 4 is you have to click on these little micro buffs every 30 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever, that are pretty substantial. Mostly for the experience gains, pretty substantial. But yeah, that's just something you have to do. This one makes it so elites do more damage, and Aether Fiends grant more ether. Anything that gives me more ether per mob is the most interesting thing for me, so yeah, I want that. At the end of these 6 waves, I have to fight a council boss fight, so I'm fighting 3 different bosses at once. Maybe sometimes more. I've only ever had 3. This is a mechanic that was from a previous season that people seem to really like, so it was added to the game because of that. Yeah, it's just like a pretty comfy way of just running in circles. You level, you kill things. Like, what's not to like in an ARPG when you have that going on, That was a great suck. Look at that pile. Like, that's why I love, this automation, this whole build I've got going on now. Is things like that where you just get to see that corpse tendril that just vacuums everything in. Very satisfying gameplay. My golem's stuck on the gorging mess and he's just kind of jiggling. I love him. Look at him go. I can't even zoom in the perfect amount. So I can keep upgrading these to do more damage, grant more ether. This also one gives masses more ether. I'm just going to keep going the route of more mobs, more Angie, more goodies. Torment 2 is pretty comfy for me again, like I said, so I could kind of really comfortably do this. Once I make those necessary upgrades I mentioned with the ancestrals and the masterwork pieces, I should be able to very comfortably do Torment 3. So we'll kind of wait until that to do that, but we're definitely on the precipice, I would say. Okay, next wave, we have +1 Hellborn. When spawned, Hellborns grant additional ether, so this just means more things spawn, and they all get more ether. Always better. I just want more stuff spawning. For this mechanic, you want to get to 200 ether, because at the end, after you kill the bosses, there's a couple options for opening chests, and the main option I focus on for getting gear is there's one that costs 200. That's the benchmark. I want to get the 200 chest. So it's honestly really easy. With 6 waves, it's like super easy. Sometimes you'll get a key that's 4 waves, which is like kind of stinky. And that one's like really, really hard to get that one. I would almost just give up on trying to get to 200. I don't know if it's even possible. Maybe it is, and I don't know if something's missing, but very, very challenging to get to 200 in 4 waves, I feel like. So, yeah, we focus on 206 wave ones are really easy to do, though. Look at all these, so many mobs are spawning now. It's great. More the better. Everything just gets cleaved down for me and sucked up, so I love to see it. Just grinding over here. You can see my life, like, really doesn't go down much, and if it does, it's just kind of passively going up constantly. So it's pretty chill. Hellborn. Slaying Hellborn invigorates me. I don't really care about that. Elites are unstoppable. I don't want that. I guess I'm picking up Masses Slow Me. These are really all not good. I don't want elites to not be able to be CC'd. I guess we'll do this one. I don't really know what Invigorate does, to be honest, but we're taking it. Everything getting 25% more damage, I think is fine. I don't think I can get one shot, so I think we're probably in the clear still. Anyway, when you finish buying that 200-point chest, the excess points that I spend go into the material that you use for masterworking. If I was pretty comfy with gear, I could just spend all my resources on that, but I just kind of still looking for that ancestral glove, potential higher ancestral rating rings or weapons even eventually. You know, there's 2 and 3 star ancestrals. You can get 4 star ancestrals legally. I've never seen it, but you can do it. Alright, 309, and we're on to the boss. I could take a second here and just put some Paragon points in if you have them. There's not to. Working towards, I think it was this one. Yeah, this one. Also, I just want to get the scent of the corpse. I guess we can just go across, because I'll go down afterwards. No, get this legendary note up. This one's really nice. 2 corpses nearby, I gain damage reduction. If there's no corpses, I deal increased damage. There's always 2 corpses, really, so it's just 15% damage reduction. I have so many ways of getting damage reduction, and the higher it is, the better, because the higher difficulties you go, the more penalties there are, right? So here we're going to get, I believe, 3 bosses to spawn. Yep. And then we're just going to kill them. If I stand next to them and all my things focus fire them, they die incredibly fast. That's the goal. Faster, dead, better. The longer they're at, the more things they do. I don't really want them doing things, but that should be that. And down he goes. All right. There's that. 309, you can see there's some base loot that drops. This is pretty mediocre typically. We actually got a Tal rune, which is kind of cool. And the fact that it is worthless, but there it is. Yeah, we got some gear, non-ancestral uniques. Kind of worthless at the moment for me, but sure, there's just stuff. Here's the chest. So there's the greater equipment one. There's the ones for the obductite. Obducite? Yes. We always pop this. This is going to give us the big bulk of drops. It'll be pretty substantial. Looking for mold. Oh, there's some ancestral gloves. Wow, look at that. So that's literally what we're looking for when we came here. Amazing. I love that. So we can now upgrade our gloves into not shitty ones. There's a scroll of restoration. This is the thing I referred to when I mentioned about resetting the tempering charges. Let's check out these gloves. Okay, they rolled... Oh, life, good. Well, unfortunately, they rolled life, they rolled bone spear, and then they rolled lightning res. Now, the third roll, like, we want int life something, right? This one we're gonna have int life, I guess, lightning res, because I don't want bone spears fucking worthless. And then we could change the bone spirit into the aura thing. That'll be just a substantial stat upgrade, just straight up. So that is good. If I hit spacebar twice, it marks it as favorite, so it doesn't get destroyed. I'll pick up the rest of this fucking gobbledygook to just vendor away. I also got an ancestral mace, but it's 1-star ancestral, and it's a one-hand, so I'm good. There's a cool-looking sword that does something. Sure. Alright, so the other resources, the extra 124 goes into this and gets us a bunch of our little materials. A poop, there they are. Beautiful in their glory. So let's just make this glove together to end the episode, this video. I can show you what the process looks like for me crafting an item, kind of. So I think it's a little bit of an important thing in an ARPG to learn how to craft and like what the crafting path is, I guess. This is how I've been going about it, at least. I'm in no way an expert on this subject, but it's clearly working for me to a degree, so I will showcase that at the very least. Okay, so first thing I'm doing is going to clean my bags up. I'm just going to hit all items. This is favorited, so it's not going to get destroyed. Cool. And we are going to, I guess we'll just start with tempering, because why not? So we're looking to get on these gloves, skeleton mages, and corpse tendrils. Okay, that's easy enough to do, right? So offensive, summoning, skeletal mages. If it hits just generic summoning, that's okay too. And skip, and we got skeletal mages. Sure, okay, that's done. Utility, profanist, corpse tendril. This is the harder one. There's 4 rolls, and there's all dead except for the one we want. Perfect, first try. I don't think they're weighted, so yeah, if I wanted to try for a higher roll, I could. Is it worth it for me? Not really, so I'm not going to bother. Alright, so that's that for the gloves. If I had to add a socket, I could, but gloves don't have sockets, so I don't have to add that. Now we're moving on to the occultist. Okay, there is our glove, our codex, and we're looking for the curse one called Dark Aura. If I just type in Aura, it should come up. No, there it is. Aspect of the Cursed. Okay. And imprint. Boom. Okay, that's got that. Now, I have a much lower... I have actually a better one than that one, but it's still not the high rank one. So it's not the highest rank. 0.3 is the highest. Mine's at 1.4. I think it shows the rank here, right? If I click, I'm at 8 out of 16. So half as good as it should be, basically. Not great. Enchant. This is where we're going to change that Bone Spear roll into something better. I'd like just to get int, because that's what I want. I think is my main stat. You kind of just need it. And there it is. Intelligence. Okay. It rolled perfect int. That's perfectly good. So you can see how much better it is than the one I'm wearing, just already. Now, the one I'm wearing is masterwork. Keep that in mind. So this is going to get a little bit even better in a second here. So we're going to come over to the blacksmith now. Hit on masterworking. Click this. And I don't have enough materials to even do it enough times. So I'm going to have to go and do some Helltide or Undercity to get some of these. But I'm probably just going to go do Helltide. But yeah, this is where I masterwork it 4 times. And then at the 4th rank, it's going to pick one of the things. The int down to corpse tendrils, any of those 5 things, and then just make it a little bit stronger. But even without all that, it's still an upgrade in basically all shapes and forms. Like I could get the skeletal mage damage a little bit better if I want to. So if I just to show you what that would look like, for example, if I were to click on offensive and summoning, my current one is 84. So we're shooting for higher than 84. This costs Forgotten Souls, so I'm not going to do it, but that's what it would be, just fishing for hitting the 1 and 3, and then hitting the 60, just for a little bit of a higher, or sorry, hitting the 105, you know? I'm not going to do it because, again, I want to masterwork it first, but that's all it is. You're just going for a 1 and 3 and then a roll higher. But that's that. Yes, this is an upgrade. Boom. My old one, I could just destroy. So we unfavored it, and then boop, gone. Look at there it goes. Lost to the ages. So yeah, now I'm just going to work on these 2 things, and then that's that. These come from any they could drop in the base game or gambling, or bosses if you're doing those specific bosses. The gambling guy is in, where is he? Is he up top? See this guy? This guy. This one, so like you could just come to rings, and I would just sit here clicking rings. Oh, look, that actually literally rolled the exact ring I'm talking about. This one is legally slightly better. If I wanted to put it on for 0.5 move speed, I could. But yeah, that's it. So if that would have rolled ancestral, that would have been great. It didn't, unfortunately. But they really buffed this gambling thing. So the odds of getting uniques and legendaries, as you can see, are much higher. It's not hard to see a base one. It's getting that ancestral that seems to be the slightly tricky part here. I mean, I've literally hit the ring I want 3 times now. Just not the right one. So that's that. That's the process. So it's like we're just fishing for the minor upgrades on things I already have. Boop. And yeah. Alright, that's about it. I think this is a good place to end. We talked about a bunch of stuff, showcase some stuff, showcase my process. Next episode will probably be, we'll say Paragon, maybe 200, if I'm getting that close. At least like 160, 170. And, yeah, with some decent upgrades on gear, probably. I'm looking to get one of these 2, if not both, ancestral. And get all my masterworks to at least 4, which should take a little bit of effort. And that'll be a nice chunk that I could very comfortably go to Torment 3. And we gotta figure out how to get to Torment 4. That's the real hard part. But yeah, we'll discuss it next time. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. I'm Matt Lighty. Have any questions, ask them in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.